I think that we need to look deeper. What is our objective? It is to create jobs.
Sure.
You cannot create jobs with discouraging investment. You need investment. You need expansion of productivity. Now, what Kasukuwere is trying to thrust upon the nation is, let's share a small cake. He said, let's increase the cake. Now, when we share a bigger cake, it means that you have to involve the local community, the majority who have been excluded from it. You need to have a strategy on how you start bringing them in the economic mainframe.
Sure.
If it is not a nationalization policy, if it is not an expropriation policy, it means that people will have to pay their share on value.
Right.
Where is the money going to come from? That is the difficult question. Even if you put communities as collective participants, how is the wealth with that collective community going to share down to the ordinary person on the ground? So we have to relook at the fundamental thrust of this policy so that it is not seen as a perpetuation or an extension of the land reform. Because that's the perception that people have, that this is another grab. It is not.
And someone listening from outside would say, you as Prime Minister, why can't you stop this process so that you create the right conditions to bring in foreign money to help uplift the economy?
Yes, we have discussed. You remember that the law that was published before we came in the inclusive government.
Right.
What we did then was try to mitigate against the excesses that were in the law. But we can't change the law. We will have to change it through the Act of Parliament. But that's a long-term process that we have to engage in. In the meantime, we need to make sure that the Indigenization Policy Trust does not act as a disincentive for investment. And that's what everyone is complaining about.
Will you change the law if you had power completely to yourself?
Definitely.
What would you put in its place?
Well, I think that we need to relook at our jobs plan, which is based on investment and empowerment of the majority. But we need now to have a rural transformation trust, because that's where the majority of the people are based. So it is not the trust of saying, give me a share. Because when you do that, it's an elitist process. You give from Peter to pay Paul. That is not the trust.
What about the Zimbabwe dollar? What's your position on the return of the Zimbabwe dollar? It's been mooted, and some have said, no, there's no need to bring it back.
No, it may come back at some stage. But at the moment, the economy is so weak that you'll have to have a backup for that currency if you are not going to slide back to the hyperinflation conditions. So it may be some time before that can be achieved.